Welcome to Chelsea. There we go. 2-0. Game finished.
I can't do it. You can. No, I can't.
Still waiting for 40 points.
Where's the 40, bro?
You will be most likely next weekend 40 points clear of us before we reach 40 points.
That's mad.
I've been asking for 3 points for weeks.
It's it's got a swirling wind all around. It's the same conditions for both teams.
Sounded like a tie here. We mustn't forget that it's been raining, so the pitch is quite...
It's been raining?
Yeah.
Oh, God. 12, 13.
That's Old Trafford. I can't believe it at home. There you go. It's done.
Oh, no way! 3!
Absolutely pathetic. Absolutely disgusting performance, and those players should be embarrassed.
Oh, they came hard. Jeez. They came hard in the intros, right? With a big cooking of everybody that lost this week. We're all going to get it. But listen, let's introduce first of all our panel. Now, you will notice that there is no flex today, right? First of all, standing in very admirably for him, because he also got smashed as well at the weekend, is Nicky, West Ham Fan TV.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I'm going to get to flex in a minute. We got AGT, Liverpool.
Top of the league. Number one.
Abby is okay this week.
I am okay.
Matisse is not okay.
No, not okay at all.
And there's no Flex today, right? Now, I messaged Flex and I said, where are you, bro? I didn't even know you weren't here today. He sent me back a picture of him in the press conference for Manchester United. They've got their Champions League game tomorrow against Bayern Munich. So he's actually at the press conference because he's got access to all the press conferences when it's a Champions League game. They haven't actually kicked him out because remember they ejected half of the press last week.
Soon come.
But so he's like, I would have took my licks, but I'm in this press. You bottled it, Flex. I'm sorry, no.
It's a disgrace.
You bottled it, and we will get to the Manchester United game.
Bottled it.
But wow, what a crazy week! Some crazy results. I don't even know where to start. By the way, you lot in that clip, you lot are disgrace, right? And that clip on me, because I said the wind was swirling. It was the same for both teams. Remember that? Go back and watch the clip.
Wind was swirling.
Yeah, it was.
Let's get a VAR on that.
Is that a Christmas carol?
It was actually a horrendous day. It was.
Lost the game because of the wind.
No, we didn't lose because of the wind.
No.
But anyway, we'll get to the Arsenal game. But let's start off. We've got to start off with Chelsea. The game was yesterday. Just before we get to that. Fair play, mate. Fair play.
Fair play, mate. Fair play, Ab. You must be okay now.
I'm okay.
As you know, again, this video is brought to you by Fair Play. It's an app that allows you to place real money, cash, against your mates without the need for real cash. Bet on whatever you choose. Will Nicky, I don't know, get through until Christmas without saying Moyes out? Will Abby be shameless? Will Matisse actually wear a Chelsea shirt? These are all things you can bet.
Win a game.
Well, win a game. Lower than Everton. You can do all of these things on the app, and that mate that never pays up. Because I'm actually owed some money off.
Not off me, mate.
Might be you as well.
Yeah, it is.
I owed some money from all of you, right?
Not me.
When it comes to that guy that never pays up, I'm looking around at this table, mate. Well, this app makes sure that they do pay up, no commission, so you take home 100% of the winnings. If it's a tenner each, the winner gets 20 quid. Download the app via the link in the description. Use the QR code on the screen now. Now, this is one that's actually really interesting for me, and I'm definitely getting involved in this one because there's just no way it's not going to happen. Promo code Salah, right? The 200 goal-scoring man for Liverpool. If he scores or assists versus Manchester United this weekend, users get a free £5 bet.
Get on that straight away.
That's silliness, because he's at least going to score one.
You're too generous
he might even get 3. And then I don't even want to know what the bet is for the week after when these lot come to Anfield. But if you entered last week's code CARD, then check your fair play account. There will be a free £5 bet in there. I mean, there were cards aplenty in that Villa game, and there probably should have been more. But we'll talk about that. But it's, if you've never used fair play before, you're good to go. Link on the description, QR code on the screen. Get involved. You need to be 18 plus, Robbie, and be gamble aware. But that's a silly bet. It's like they're chucking out money for free.
They're giving it away.
What?
They're giving it away.
Involved,
Make sure you do. Links in the description. Scan the QR code. Get involved right now. It's a great app. And like Alex said, it means that whoever you bet against has to pay up. Steen says, Nicky, Arsenal fan, but love to see it. They love you back.
On, bro. We love Nicky.
John Raymond says, I need to see KG in Best of Enemies. No excuses. Expressions is waiting on
got
him. I'll tell you that.
coming
but
up
this
for
one made me laugh. From Jared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He says, Chelsea are geniuses. The Premier League can't relegate them for a rule breach if they do it themselves.
Cheer
We're
up,
starting on Chelsea. Before we get there, you had a stat, Abby, that you showed me earlier on. I don't know if you can.
I don't have it to hand, but the stat was that if you looked at a calendar year for Chelsea, they've only won 9 times this calendar year. They would be rock bottom of the Premier League table.
39 points out of 39 games.
Averaging 1 point.
And Everton have got more than that.
They were bottom, so everyone was below them. Everyone was above them, sorry. Everton, Forest, Burnley, Luton, I guess, if you were putting them in a calendar year. But it's absolutely crazy.
That is crazy.
9 wins in a calendar year. It's a drought.
It's not even one a month.
It's a drought.
It's not even one a month.
It's insane.
And where's the Chelsea top? You're wearing like a McLaren.
Yeah, he's just a McLaren fan now.
He's a McLaren fan now.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe you should have wore AlphaTauri or something like that.
We had some F1 this morning. I thought, why change? You know?
No, you should have wore AlphaTauri. That would be more mirror the Chelsea that we're seeing
I
at
have
the
to find
moment.
happiness somewhere, Robbie. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna support
But
a
do you know
dead
what's so
F1
funny?
team and
There's
my team
literally-
dead as well. Do you know what I mean?
There's literally no F1. We're in an off-season right now.
Yeah,
So
we're in
he's
off-season.
finding happiness just
Desperation. Do you know
looking
what
back.
I've never understood about the F1? The amount of sponsors on that shirt. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Money's
They
got
can't
to come
be
in from
happy.
somewhere,
So,
innit?
yeah,
Spend $1 billion.
Well, speaking of $1 billion, I just want to ask you a question, because your manager, Mauricio Pochettino, came out and
more
claimed
money.
that he needs more money, needs to spend more money, wants a new centre-back, wants a new forward, wants a new midfielder. After spending $1 billion, I know it wasn't all him, but spending £1 billion in a calendar year. We're not even at the end of that calendar year, because it will probably start from the transfer window in Jan. It's absolutely ludicrous that Chelsea have to spend more money, throw more money at the problem, because it's clearly not just the players, it's clearly the board, the manager, and the players. So what's the point of bringing in more players?
Well, you know, normally the manager has to be seriously looked at. Now, surely now you've got to start taking a look at the manager, because there has been £1 billion spent. It's not, you haven't got a team full of average players.
No.
You've got a team full of top players.
And young players as
right?
well.
And they're just not performing at the moment, are they? I mean...
It's just embarrassing, Robbie, to be honest. It's like... I think everybody has to take responsibility, but the manager is definitely under massive pressure now, because even if this team, with the attack, you know, the Mudriks and the Maduekes and the Jacksons, I mean, I don't know where Madueke even is. He wasn't even on the bench in the last match. And the Broyers and whatnot, you wouldn't look at that attack and say that's a world-class attack at all. But you take a look at the midfield, the options that you have in Caicedo and Enzo, you're not even getting the best out of those players now. They look average.
He said about getting someone in midfield.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't think we need a midfielder.
You've got Caicedo.
We've got injuries. We've got injuries.
Not
Obviously,
even
Lavia's not played, but like you can't just keep buying midfielders just because you've got injured midfielders. You have to wait for them to come back. We have quality midfielders. Even the centre backs. I don't agree with the centre back situation either. We have centre backs. So the striker situation, I'll hear that 100%, because like the strikers that we have right now are clearly inexperienced and not prolific, and I think you need to have balance.
On an 8-year contract.
Aren't you worried?
Of course, 100%.
No, I mean, like when you look at the way they've spent this money, I mean, let them spend
100%. That's why the board. That's why the board.
Come up and catch up with
that's
you.
why the
and
board.
you're gonna get what you deserve from years ago.
That's why the board
20
are.
years ago.
That's why the board are under the most scrutiny out of everyone, because 2 years running we're mediocre, and mediocre's being kind. We're not even mid. We're worse than that. We're not average.
You made
we're
United.
crap.
You made United look so good last week.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I was even more angry when I saw the Man United score. I wasn't even celebrating. I was angry because I was like, same stadium, a couple of days later, Bournemouth have gone there and battered them, made them look as bad as they've been, and we went there and got absolutely battered and should have lost by more. It's just, that week has just represented exactly where we are. So it's the manager has to take more responsibility. The team don't look unified in terms of the way they're playing. I can't see a style. I can't see good defending in individual situations, set pieces, open play. The way we attack, we look like we're just running on just whatever. Like there's no plan. It's just like everybody's just thinking for themselves and there's no cohesion. I sympathise with the constant injuries and like switching the team. James has now gone down as well again. There has to be serious questions about him. How can he be captain when he can't even stay fit and play games? Like you can't lead the team if you're not even able to keep yourself available. It's not his fault, but at the same time, it's like who's gonna lead this team?
But this guy said in the super chat, NBA highs, he said Poch out. He built a team around Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. And I said in the summer, like, listen, Conor Gallagher's probably been Chelsea's best midfielder this season, but that's not a good thing. Like, you can't spend 100 million a pop on 2 midfielders and Conor Gallagher's your best midfielder.
Enzo has an 8%.
That's not something to be excited about or to be cheering on, because for me, Conor Gallagher, if he's our best player or our best midfielder, we are in the position we're in, mid-table. He's the best midfielder in a mid-table team, like he was at Crystal Palace. So that, for me, is not the way to be going.
Navin Raj says, cook my bro Ma today. He made us believe in Poch. Is Poch the problem? Is he getting the best out of the players he's got a front line of Mudryk.
He's not.
I know you ain't got no prolific goal scorer there.
Yeah, but
you've got a front line of Mudryk, who loads of teams wanted, including Arsenal, for big money. He's got Raheem Sterling, Cole Palmer.
Yeah, he's underperforming massively. He's massively underperforming. He should have this team minimum in European places. I said that at the start of the season. Like, you've got 1 game a week. You've got training. A lot of teams are playing in Europe. They've got 2 games a week. You got you got days to train. You don't like you know when you're playing twice a week. Sometimes you might have to go a bit lighter in training. You might have to
How can they be tired then?
That's what I'm saying.
They're tired from what?
From what you're playing You're playing 1 game a week. Played with 10 men once.
I've got to say this is. Sometimes it goes deeper than the manager.
It does.
Like Man United.
The board have to take most of the responsibility.
Ever since Ferguson left, nobody that's come in there has done a good job. Your club is a mess. It's a mess. And you've got some owner sitting there chucking billions and billions and billions of pounds. That will come up to bite you on the bum one day. Yeah.
And for what as well?
For what? Nothing. There is nothing that you've spent your money on. I can't see a player that you've spent your money on that I can go around, he's worth that.
Do you know what? The only one I would probably say is Cole Palmer.
Cole
Palmer's been Chelsea's best player by a country mile this season.
But that's not saying a lot, though.
No, it's not. But I still think he's been great. He's the only one that I look at in that team and think maybe he can turn a game. Yeah. But and Sterling's been all right as well this season. But I would say they gave 4 months to Graham Potter. I'm not saying they weren't right to sack Potter because of the situation they were in, but they gave 4 months to Graham Potter. He didn't have a pre-season. He had nothing. He got thrown into the most ridiculous situation and then sacked. Pochettino had a pre-season, which I will say he did. He's obviously brought in players that he would have okayed. Do you don't think?
Yeah, but the problem is that he did ask for some experience in the summer and they kept lumping more youngsters on top of it, which is where my problem comes with the board, is that they keep stockpiling youngsters. Every time you wake up in the morning, Chelsea are linked with another 16-year-old Brazilian for 40 million euros.
Your experience comes in Thiago Silva, it comes in Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, but Thiago Silva shouldn't be playing every minute of every Premier League game. He's nearly 40 years of age. I'd honestly stick with the centre-back pairing that we saw against Everton, where we did deal with the aerial situations and we didn't actually look that bad defensively. They obviously got their 2 goals. But the overall problem is that when Chelsea went 1-0 down, they had nothing to hit Everton back with. Pickford didn't have to make barely a save.
You know what? One of the problems is, I think your owners strip the core.
100%.
Once you strip the core of that club, once you take out all of the experience out of that club, even players like Mason Mount,
Azpilicueta,
yeah. You strip it all. You leave it with nothing. You're basically building it. West Ham have done it in the past. You know, they strip out all of everyone that's linked to the club, they're past with the club. They strip it out and you leave it with nothing. It's a blank canvas now. And basically what Man United done. Look at Man United this season. Their 2 best players are the players that they was going to sell to us. They was desperate to get away. McTominay's been ripping it up. You've got to have that core. You've got to have that core. You haven't got a core.
But the thing is about it, right, is that Chelsea fans were very excited in the summer about their signings. You had a very good pre-season, and every Chelsea fan came into this season. Not saying they were going to win the league or nothing, but they were very excited. They thought that they'd get top 4. Now, if
this is
the
why I'm
position
saying,
you're in
But this is what this is why I'm saying.
Is he
it's
the one
both.
that's failing?
You guys are very much asking me to pin the blame on one person. I'm not going to pin.
No,
the
but that's
blame
what normally.
not?
Yeah, but
normally,
what I'm trying to tell you is that
normally in a lot of these cases, it's the manager taking
100%. He's going to take the hit.
Pochettino
He's going to take the
away
hit.
with it a bit,
He's
doesn't
not.
he?
He's not going to get away with it because if he keeps going the way he's going to get sacked. Everybody knows this. You can't sack an ownership. But what I'm saying is that it is multiple factors at play as to why Chelsea are as poor as they are. You can't just say after 2 years of mediocrity of stripping, like you said, the entire club and starting again and going with this under 25 rule of players that it's only one man's fault and it's just the manager. Like I said, the manager should be performing a lot better with this team. He's massively underperforming. We don't look good. We're not playing good football. We're not creating loads of chances for me to be even saying that Jackson's missing like 5 big chances a game and the system and he's coached to win. However, like I said, the board also have to take responsibility as well because they're the ones that have spent $1 billion on a team that at this current moment, even if you was to get it playing, you can't sit there and say there's any individual brilliance in that team. You can't say that there's many leaders in that team. You can't say that there's a world-class striker in that team. So, like I said, Pochettino is going to take the hit because he's going to get sacked if he keeps losing games. But the board, they can't keep going like this. How many managers have they sacked in the first 18 months? What, 4? They are 100% going to have to take the licks as well. They can't carry on like this. They've spent $1 billion, stripped the whole squad. Half of the $1 billion is either injured or in Strasbourg or in Brazil and hasn't joined yet in 2025. They're still being linked to more 16-year-olds in Brazil. The board are 100%
They've just spent $700 million on a LA Dodgers baseball player as well. $700 million.
Is he going to start for Chelsea as well?
Oh, he might have to. He might
because
hit the
Can he
target.
play up front?
I don't know. $700 million. You should be able to do
It's
every
defenders
sport.
they need.
I don't care. Tennis.
I do totally agree with you. It's not just on
If you take a lot of the managers, that we rate,
you almost don't need
that are doing really well at other clubs, right? They would also probably look quite poor in this club right now. The club from top to bottom is a mess.
So let's say that you.
I don't believe Pochettino manages at Brighton and does an appalling job.
Let's say you get rid of Poch at some point, just because that's probably the expectation. If you keep losing or the results stay the same, let's say you do. Well, who do you then look to bring in?
I don't care anymore, honestly.
His mind
I don't care.
state's not even in that place yet. He's just trying to do it.
I really don't care anymore.
But it's a very realistic prospect that could happen to Pochettino.
I'm not asked.
Because the owners will not accept its fault of their own. It will fall on the manager like it does at every club.
That's why I say
they have to have
they
have to have an idea of who they think they might go for
I
next.
think they was very patient with Potter, though.
Get Lampard.
I don't think they were at all. 4 months is not patient.
I think they was patient.
Do you think Chelsea have improved at all since Potter last year?
Compared to normal patients.
No, let me hold on, because I've debunked this before. If Tottenham or Liverpool went on a run of 18 games and only won 2 of them, where would you guys' patience be at?
No,
well,
I think.
Yeah, I agree.
If you were 15th, hold on. If you were
Chelsea
15th, like 4 points off the relegation zone, and you don't look like winning any games, what more patience is there?
No,
Graham Potter had to be sacked. I'm sorry. I don't care if it was like an uncomfortable situation. Fair enough. We can say we'll go and get another job, and obviously he'll prove himself, and that's partly our fault. That's why the board has to. That's why the board has to take blame. But you can't just keep losing games. Someone has to.
But under Abramovich, that would have been done a long time.
100%.
At what point do you look at Poch then? For you,
I'm looking at Poch right now. I'm looking at him right now. The only reason why I'm not saying he should be sacked is because I don't want the board to get away with the way that they've moved in the last 18 months. They have to take responsibility. I'm like I said, we was excited because we're seeing ambition, money's getting put in as well. But there was a lot of Chelsea fans that were also saying, why are we signing another youngster? Why are we stockpiling our 5th right winger that's 18 years old? Why are we looking at a Brazilian for 40 million? There's loads of people saying this. So I think some of the signings have been good, and I think some of the players like Enzo, Lavia, Caicedo, Badiashile should look a lot better than they do, and that's why I blame Poch. But also some of the signings like Mudryk for 60-something million just to get in ahead of Arsenal. I said at the time when we signed him, I don't know why we signed him. I honestly haven't seen enough of him to say that I'm excited by this signing. I've said that for quite a few signings.
Who can you say that you have? I mean, when we was having this Caicedo debate in the summer, I said to everyone that was interested in Declan Rice, go for Declan Rice. He's done it for 5 years. Caicedo, because his name's Caicedo. If his name was Declan Caicedo, everyone would want him as well.
But if Caicedo went to Arsenal in January, do you think Caicedo would look as bad as he looked? Of course he would have.
Because Arsenal organised.
But I don't think he warranted the amount of money that was paid.
No, but everybody knew he was overpriced. I said it even when we signed him. I said we got bumped because Liverpool came in and we messed up the deal, and then obviously they pushed the price up. But if he went to Liverpool, if Caicedo went to Liverpool, Liverpool would literally be like clear. Do you know what I mean? Like, look how they're playing with no DM.
I said this to you
so
in the
let's not pretend like I said it was a bad player and Enzo's a bad player. Because if you
he had 1 year. This is what I was
course,
telling you. He had 1 year.
Enzo
And you was
had
telling
17
me
games to justify 120 million
pounds. Yeah, you was telling me
17
no, he's going to be
games.
the world, but he's going to be the engine of our midfield.
I still think he's a very, very good player, and I think he has the potential to be a great player. But like I said, the manager's not looking good right now.
If Pochettino, your game on Saturday at home to Sheffield United, if you was to lose that game,
I don't care what happens after that. If they sack him, they sack him. Like I've honestly lost interest. Like Jesus. I can't continue to sit here and just like peddle Pochettino's propaganda for no reason. If you keep losing games, you're going to get sacked. I know how this goes. I don't care.
I asked Tom on Saturday on the Saturday Football Show, does the owner know what he's doing? Because like you said, a lot of excitement at the start. Look how much money he's spending. We're getting our big money man owner back.
But I think most fans would be like that.
Like, who's actually advising him?
Who's doing your recruitment?
Like,
we have a recruitment team. They're under scrutiny.
Where are they
They
from?
need to be re-recruited. Them
from baseball.
But this is what
probably.
Alex, this is what I'm saying. If you sack the manager, right, and then you bring in another manager and you put the same
I agree.
You put the same kind of format together and say this is how we're going to recruit, this is how we're going to behave, then what's going to happen to the next guy? They're going to get sacked again.
Let me do a few super chats here. Mohammed says Abby is gorgeous, but what's that nasty Matisse doing on the show? He has no shame, right? He should be on the mid-6 stream. 21 from 7. And he said YNWA is obviously a Liverpool fan. Ashley says Caicedo, you sausage, turning down the Reds. Trouser says Reece James, new position, BRB.
Yeah.
Since that tweet as well.
It's a very good tweet, to be fair.
I'll say this loud and clear, bruv. Reece is out of the best right back conversation. He's just out of it now. He's out of it for a long time now, until he stays fit for a couple of seasons.
Massam says he's magic, who's better than Enzonzi or Enzo? Who's better, Enzonzi or Enzo? We saw Enzonzi, remember, over in Qatar.
We did. He plays for Al Ryan.
Yeah. Dutty Big says Arteta would do much better with that front three, in my opinion. Rack says, did you know that Kai Havertz has more wins, 17 with Arsenal this season, compared to his wins, 16 with Chelsea during his entire 2022-23 season? This stat says a lot about Chelsea, and it's only December. David Jang says, so last season and the season combined, Mudryk has the same amount of goal attempts as our centre-back Saliba, not even trying to banter Matisse. Please explain what is going on. Hugh says, tried to catch me out with that name, didn't. He says, if Chelsea sack Pochettino, then what? The next manager will be stuck with a squad full of players from Tuchel, Potter and Poch. It won't change a thing, but I don't know, man. It's a better squad than a lot of the teams that are way above them at the moment. S says, Matisse was happy to pin all the blame on Arteta, though. Mike says, nice try, Robbie. We saw your rating show. You excused Saka for the conditions. No, I didn't. What's next?
Windy.
I said for both teams. It's
windy,
quite clear on the... Yeah. Anyway,
Listen,
Abby's enjoyment in Matisse's pain is hilarious, says O'Malley. Trousers said, we'll go to that when we get to that game. Matisse has reached his I don't care point, just like Abby was last season.
You all laughed at me. You're not laughing now.
It's painful, mate.
And Moyes says, how does Bowley spend 700 million for a baseball player when we could have got Mbappe, Bellingham, etc.? We need Roman back. We're basically potential FC.
Spoiled, aren't they?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure
how
how
can
good
that
he are
guy
at
moan
baseball, to
about
be
it?
fair.
There's one thing you can't moan
be shit
about:
as well.
the amount of money that was spent. They've spent. Yeah, I mean,
You spent £1 billion.
I mean, I always thought to myself, how
It's
they spend that money and they
insane.
didn't buy in like an Osimhen or someone as a striker. And I think, but they've spent. Yeah, I mean, and Chelsea fans were excited at the start of the season.
Do you know what? I think you've got to give some credit to Everton, though, as well. I know Chelsea have been awful, but Everton were on it yesterday, and I think, the first goal totally just killed Chelsea off. After that, they absolutely had nothing. That game should have been on TV, in my opinion, but Yeah, Everton have won every game since the
Do you know
points
what?
deduction.
I feel a bit sorry for them because had they not have had that deduction,
They'd be above Chelsea.
I think they'd be 9th or something, 9th or 10th.
They'd be right.
The
They'd be
league.
right.
They're only 6
Yeah,
points behind
Yeah,
Chelsea
but
now.
this is the best season that Everton have had in such a long time. I feel sorry for them that they haven't been
I mean, don't feel sorry for
truly
them,
able to
but,
celebrate
you know.
how good they've been this season on Dyche and how much has improved them.
I'm feeling sorry for Matisse, and I feel to come off of him. But then I remember last week and the week before, and he's saying, I hate Arsenal. I remember him last season trying to urge other teams to beat us and that. So I don't feel sorry for you. You spent £1 billion and your team's worse.
Yeah.
How have you managed to do that?
It's quite impressive. It's quite impressive. You have to, you know, someone put up a list the other day. If you was to re-spend $1 billion, and like I said, you could put like a Bellingham and an Mbappe and all these players in this team, and it's crazy. But you know,
It's crazy.
Do you know the mad thing about it? The two teams, and we're going to move on to the other team. The two teams that have spent the most money in the Premier League over the last 10 years, they both spent over $1 billion. So bad at the moment. Manchester United spent 1.7 billion, right? And they are in an absolute mess. So bad that Flex today has told us he's at his press conference. All right, he did send me a picture of the press conference, but there's no time code on that. I'm not sure whether he's not, you know, we may even try and see if we can attempt to ring him or something. We need to speak to a Man United fan because I want to know what's happening. I was walking into the game,
Call Rio, man.
the Aston Villa game, right? And I'm going into the game and a guy goes to me, you seen the United score? And I'm thinking, they're winning about 5-0, right? Because after what they did to Chelsea during the week, he goes, they're losing 3-0 at Bournemouth. I go, what, at home?
Should have been 4.
Bournemouth. I go, the Bournemouth we played. I go, that team was one of the worst teams.
Even we beat them.
I was like, Bournemouth, right? And then when I got into the stadium now, a guy goes to me, I go to a guy, I go, boy, yeah, United are losing 3-0 to Bournemouth. He goes, no, it's 4. I go, 4. I go, you mad, right?
4.
And then luckily for them, that goal got disallowed.
Could have been 7.
I watched the highlights yesterday. I couldn't believe what I was watching. How can you go from what they did during the week to Chelsea?
That's just because Chelsea is so bad.
Chelsea. I said it on
That's
Thursday.
just because Chelsea is so
was
bad.
so bad in that game on Wednesday night. I'm not even just saying because I hate Chelsea. They were so bad. They were weak. They were lifeless. They were limp. They made United look so good and galvanised them because of how poor Chelsea were. They didn't win that game, United, because because of anything else other than the fact that Chelsea was so bad and they got confidence from that game to go on and batter them.
Manchester United, what
you can't even deny it.
I know. What has happened? And then you've got to ask the question now, is this the next manager that could go? Because he's got 2 games coming up this week now, right? I mean, he would have been on a bit of a high beating Chelsea. That was a very impressive win.
You as well.
Now they've got they've lost at home.
And Bournemouth
as football fans, right? You have you lose games and that, but you have certain games, certain results that sort of go into that unforgivable bracket. Because you lose games and you'd be upset.
He's had about 8 of them though.
That fits in the unforgivable bracket, right? Now he's got Bayern,
Liverpool,
who just lost 5-1. I saw Harry Kane posting out saying that, listen, you'll see a reaction on Tuesday, so that won't be an easy game. And even if they do win that, they've got to hope that Galatasaray and Copenhagen draw for them to go through. Then they go to Anfield, right? Where they, honestly.
Listen, if Bournemouth scored 3/4, I'm expecting 8 or 9.
Do you know what? And then on the other hand, you could look on it like it could be a glorious week for him. What if he qualified for the Champions League and went to Anfield and won?
It's not going to happen though, Robbie. I've never been more confident playing a Man United team. This is the perfect time to play them. And then you're obviously the week after. But this is the worst Manchester... Yeah, could be. No, it's all right. I got you. This could be... And again, we've seen some awful managers at Manchester United. They've had 6 in the last 10 years to try and recreate a 10th of what Fergie created. But they've lost more games within the last 10 years at Old Trafford than they lost in the whole 28 years that Fergie was at Manchester United for. So I don't know if it gets any worse than this. I mean, physically on the table, obviously it can. They can keep going down. But the lack of... I mean, I'm bored of saying it. I'm not even a United fan, but it's actually... You expect this now. We had Neeks on the Saturday Football Show. He was expecting to lose that game.
To Bournemouth.
Bournemouth at
But
home.
it's mad
He was
because
expecting
do
to
you know
lose
what's
that.
mad? They're
He's just
still
saying that,
sitting like
surely.
6th in the table, right? So they've just been going on and they've gone on a bit of a run, weirdly enough, and like
One
were
manager of
picking
the
up
month.
points. Yeah, which is mental.
Harry
But everyone
Maguire.
was still saying how poor United had been, despite them sitting where they were in the table. But then I don't know if they will sack him after these two.
You know that manager of the month thing, right?
Depends how badly the loss is.
There should be some context to it.
I
What would
think
you
the
think?
Bayern.
That was
Not just results.
absolutely
I think the Bayern
ridiculous.
game's going to
Let's
be
say
hard.
it's 5-0 at Anfield, and that's flattering them. What happens
I think
then?
if it's 5-0 at Anfield, and I think they'll lose tomorrow night anyway. And I think if that's like 4.
Do you know what? I don't think he'll get sacked though. That's the thing. I just don't see a sacking coming from him. It doesn't feel like it's imminent. It doesn't
then-
feel
but
like
then how
it doesn't
long
feel
do you
like he's
wait?
under pressure. He's under pressure from the Man United fan base.
What?
No, but no, from a board perspective, it doesn't feel like he's under real pressure.
New owners come in.
When the new owners come in, yeah. But when do they come in?
But they're saying it'll be before Christmas,
Been
right?
hearing that
Maybe they'll react.
If I think, you know what? I think going out of the Champions League,
Okay.
some fans might. If they go to Anfield on top of that and get
Well,
stuffed,
listen to their Christmas. Their Christmas. So they've got Bayern Tuesday.
Loss.
Then they go away to Anfield.
Loss.
Then they go to West Ham.
Loss.
They are at
No,
home.
you're good, you're good, don't
They are
worry.
at home to Villa.
Loss.
That is all before the 30th. Then they're away to Forest.
Potential
so
loss.
if you're looking at those 4 fixtures, potentially there's one win in there. Potentially.
I think
or a
they
draw.
no, but I think this is the weird thing about
This is
it.
the thing.
That
They will
can
pick up
turn
points
up in some of them
They-
games.
It's not even that they'll
How,
turn
though?
up. It's
It's
that
mad.
they'll find clutch moments. Against Everton, right? 3-0 win. They didn't play great, but they still managed to find the
but
goals.
I think if
that's
it
what they
wouldn't-
do. That's what they'll do.
That
If
runs out,
Garnacho
though,
had
It does run out.
that
It's not
goal,
sustainable.
I
I've
think
said
it's a
that.
different
But
game.
at the same time, I don't think they're going to go and lose all of those games. So you're going to see Man United
Remember
pick
when
up
Flex
results.
said
and you're
at the
thinking,
start of the season
how did they do that?
that Hoyland
We
would
did be
score
doing it
more
all
than
season.
Nunez as well? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was on fair
Let's
play.
find that
Do
clip.
you know what, right? You know
think I
what?
mowed some
You know what made me
cash.
laugh at that game, the United game? It's Bruno Fernandes. He just sort of said to himself.
He got booked on purpose.
He-
purpose.
he-
100%.
He
I
said
swear
to
he
himself,
did it last year as well.
he said to
No, he
himself,
just
I
gave
ain't
up.
going
Anfield.
Anfield.
Oh, yeah,
He just gave up.
Yeah.
He
On
goes,
the pitch.
there's no way
May
I'm
as well.
going Anfield with these lot.
Yeah.
Right, and getting those 7, 8.
Day off.
Right, nah, man, nah. What happened?
I'd prefer him playing, if I'm honest.
But this is why.
Because it means they'll probably play Mainu, which is more defensive and more compact. If they play him, he gave up. He went like that to
tell you, he's
Stefan
not a captain.
Bajcetic when he megged him at 6-0 down.
He's
just
not.
walked
He's
off
not
the
a captain.
pitch.
I've said it before.
He's a petulant
He gets
little
it- he gets-
child.
Again, a team that spent loads and loads of money, and they've got worse.
They've been unfortunate with some of their signings, though. They've had some problems with some of their sort of big money signings, haven't they? Sancho, where is he? What's the other kid?
Did all right at Dortmund.
Anthony. You know,
but
they're just problems.
No, but they're just no good.
No,
Obviously,
they're
Do
good,
their
but they've
due
got
diligence before
problems.
they sign them.
They've got problems.
At Liverpool,
is
we have a no
Anthony-
dickhead policy. They just accept anyone
Anthony
that will take
good?
them.
I don't rate Anthony, but
Don't go soft now.
There's outside influence.
You know what Anthony reminds you of? Remember that Brazilian you had? You bought from Lazio.
Oh, Felipe Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't you think he's very similar to
Yeah,
him?
he's very
Anderson,
similar.
I think
Anderson
Anderson was
was
better.
better.
To be honest,
He was way better.
I think Anderson was better.
First season, Anderson was really
Yeah,
good.
he had more to his game. Anderson.
Yeah,
Forward
you know what I mean?
wasn't he?
Technically good.
Anthony's not technically good.
45 million, yeah.
He's honestly not technically good. He can't cross. His shooting is very, very hit and miss. He basically just, he's a volume player. His dribbling is apart from the little twirl, it's nothing
But
spectacular.
that was Ten Hag's
And-
influence. He wanted him.
Well, a lot of the
He
players
did,
that
yeah,
Ten
he
Hag
did.
has brought in haven't
terrible.
done anything. And I
terrible.
think they
Sorry.
spent the no. I was just going to say they've spent the money wrong as well. Very in a different way to you lot, because you're in a way investing in young talent, maybe too much of it, but you're investing in young players. They're buying players that are not. Well, some of them aren't even young. When you look at like Casemiro, they bought him, had one good season, but he's coming towards the end of kind of that career and stint at United. Now Eriksen, again, another player that good for a here and now, but it's not got any longevity
is he
to
even
it.
here and now?
Well, maybe not at the minute, but I think last season you could say Casemiro and Eriksen were doing the job and would paper over some cracks. But I don't think that they've got anything in terms of forward-thinking investment. I don't think Mason Mount was the answer for them at all whatsoever. And then obviously bringing someone back like Johnny Evans, I mean, who's actually been okay for them, but that's not the answer if you're Manchester United. It just shows that this was the biggest club in the world. The expectation, how far it's fallen, is terrible.
They've invested in big players. Varane, Casemiro. You're thinking to yourself, they're changed, but they haven't. They come in, they influence it. Bruno Fernandes was the same. Comes in, influence it for a little while, then they get into the same.
This is
rot.
what happens at Chelsea.
The
as well.
same
Very similar.
rot.
You know what I mean?
Varane's not even playing.
No, he's not for tactical reasons.
And
His knees are
again,
gone,
is
though.
there something wrong behind the scenes that you've got a player the quality of Varane who's not even getting in the side? I mean, if Ten Hag
Lost the
loses those
dressing
2
room.
games, do you think he should be sacked? Let's get a
I
show of
want him on a
should he
10-year
be
deal.
Should he be sacked if he was to lose those 2 games?
Which the Liverpool and Bayern.
If he's to go out of the Champions League and then lose to Liverpool, should he be sacked?
Heavily as well.
Do you blame it on the outside things?
It's a very similar situation to Chelsea, where I don't blame one person, because I don't believe that Ten Hag should have been given the keys in the first place. I don't think any manager in the modern day should be given overriding transfer responsibility. I think there should be a recruitment team, and he says, what profile do you need? And then you, as a recruitment team, as a scouting network, you go and get that profile. That's what Liverpool did. That's what Man City did. So the fact that Tuchel, that's the fact that Tuchel, the fact that Ten Hag had all of this responsibility, similar to what Tuchel had when our owners arrived as well, and that transfer window went awfully. So I think when you don't have the structure around the manager, makes the manager look even worse. But what I will say is that the fact that he ditched his own philosophy did shock me. And his management of players is looking very spooky as well, because he keeps falling out with people. So,
imagine if he'd have got rid of
again,
Maguire.
He's one of those that is going to end up getting
McTominay.
sacked anyway. I'm not going to feel sorry for him, because he has messed up the situation as well. He's
lost the dressing room 100.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever had it though.
He's not done a great job this season at all.
It sounds like quite personal and a bit of an attack on him, but from what I've seen of him, he does not strike me as a type of manager where you go, I'm going to run through a brick wall for you today. He's just got no. It's like it's just a wet leaf. Like nothing about it.
No, I think it's
you know what I mean?
if
at least Van Gaal would like do.
I think he's
Mourinho
a
had
bit
personality.
When you look at these 2 clubs, honestly, you could
Just
keep
like
switching manager.
sub-teacher. No
you could keep
respect.
switching manager and get these like little bursts. New players coming in, right? Palmer comes in, gets off to a good start. Now he's dropped off to the level that everybody else is, and this happened with numerous players. Same with Man United. You said Bruno Fernandes, with Casemiro, right? Managers are the same thing. They come in, they look like they have a little moment. I mean, we didn't even get ours, and then bang, gone. So it's just going to keep going on and on until they sort themselves out.
Okay, listen, let's get up to 1,000 likes. There's over 7,000 of you watching live right now. Don't forget that app Fair Play. If you want to bet with your mates, there's no commission. So you take 100% of the winnings. It's free to download. So get involved with that right now. The code for the special offer that they're doing this week, where you can get yourself a free £5 bet, is Salah.
You might as well
if
do
Mo
that.
Salah scores or assists versus Manchester United, so why don't they just give the people?
They should have said scores a hat trick to make it a little bit harder, but he might even do that.
If he scores or assists, you can get yourself a free £5 bet. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen right now and get involved. Let me do a few more super chats before we get into the next game. There's loads of different ones coming in. Thoughts on Chelsea saying feed the Scousers, Ashley? From Ashley.
Well, Everton actually put up the food bank donation every time they sung that, so I actually big up Everton for that, because you can't be.
All right, Sheldon says, do any of
2023.
you all think that any player in world football will ever sign a contract as big as Bowley just signed with Afani,
the baseball
for the
guy.
baseball guy?
10-year deal.
Contracts are a bit different in those sports, aren't they?
Yeah,
So,
70 million a year. though.
Josh UK says, what better way to spend my birthday than to watch the weekend roundup and later tonight, the Big Six. Thanks, guys.
Happy birthday,
Alex, big up to you. Alex says, big up to Big Ange, High Line for life.
For life.
Give him the amount of money that these frauds have had, and he would have a very serious team. That's a guy who's got the best out of players he could look at,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is.
Moyes says, we've lost our identity. We need players. We need players for now. He's on about Chelsea or United?
Same applies.
Same applies, yeah, it could be either.
Trousers, he's like you're talking about the same team, innit? Trouser says, could you discuss how Girona are pulling a Leicester there
Wow.
today? Unbelievable
Yeah.
what
Beating
they're
Barca
doing over there in
4-2.
Spain.
Yeah.
Beat Barca,
Girona.
top of the league.
Imagine
over
if
there.
they win it. I mean,
It's
it'll be
crazy.
incredible.
Cara Bitsi says, Matisse, you are lying. We drew 0-0.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was thinking of season before.
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Even we beat them.
Ragnarok says,
quiet
Bruno,
today.
Point.
We did.
intentional
No, it's quiet
yellow
today.
was brilliant. He's playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers. No chance of winning at Anfield anyway. Mar says, AGT, don't jinx us. Whenever you say that we're going to get a win, it doesn't happen. He said Luton was a perfect example.
What?
Tina says, if we United lose, with less than 5 at Anfield, I'll take that. Jesus.
That's what I'm on. Big up Tina.
Jamie says,
she's always watching from Norway.
Nikki, are you now 100% Moyes out? We'll come to
He
Nikki.
always has been.
Dericky13 says, Abby, Spurs will finish above Arsenal. Reason, Son. Todd Miller, who's a big Chelsea fan, as we know, says, Porty says, sour times on a loop
great tune, that,
all
though.
day.
What's that?
Portishead, sour times. Great song.
He says on a loop all day he's got it. And Chanel Warren says a shambolic club management and millions of disillusioned fans are worse for the league than whatever Everton did. Are their rules against setting money on fire? They literally have set money on fire. Which team should we go to next?
Go West Ham? Or do you want to go
Let's
top,
go. All right,
top
we'll come back to West Ham. Let's go Liverpool.
Top of the table, yeah.
Top of the table.
Factually. So.
Win over... A bit of a controversial win in the end over Crystal Palace.
Well, it wasn't a second booking for IE.
So that's what made the game
Changed
2-1.
the game.
Well,
It changed the game, didn't it?
It did change the game.
They went down to 10 men and then suddenly you get 2 goals.
For anyone who didn't watch the game, Crystal Palace were winning by
1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
Then they go down to 10 men.
Then Liverpool win.
I mean,
And then
2
Liverpool
yellow
come
cards,
back and win the
so
game.
what do you want me
Liverpool weren't at their best. Now, do you think
Doesn't matter.
that was 2 yellow? Do you think that was a sending off?
Yeah, I do think it was
The second one-
The first one, he stood in front of the ball as we're trying to take a free kick. That's a foul. The second one...
Do you think
he's purposely stopped to counter-attack, which is a yellow card.
You think that was a send
But anyway...
The game's gone.
Draw me in to talk about our top of the table.
Hold on. No, of course, well done to Liverpool at the top
you.
of the
I'll
table.
take
I'm
that.
just asking you the question.
Maybe the
if that
second
had been
one
a
was
Liverpool
soft.
player, would you have been...
Well, we've had that this season. I would have said, yeah, that's 2 stupid mistakes. Like, if it was Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, whoever it was, it's 2 yellows. Doesn't matter which team it is. It's 2 petulant yellows. He should know better.
Remembering that, guys.
Well, bank it.
Right.
Bank it if you want. Do what you want, mate.
Top of the league, Liverpool.
Most wins, least defeats, most points, most goals in favour, least goals conceded.
I love it. You never
Brilliant.
walk alone.
And that's Opta as well, by the way. And Liverpool have scored more winning goals in the 90th minute or later than any team in Premier League history. 40% of those have come under Jurgen Klopp. 43 goals. I heard your brother, Laurie, chatting about mentality monsters. Thank you, because we are. That's what we are. And listen, it wasn't the best performance. From minute 0 to 76, if I could gift the game to a team, it would have been Palace. I'll be honest with you. We were poor, but then we turn it on. Salah gets his 200th goal, 150th in the league. He's now top 10 goal scorers of all time in the Premier League. He's up there with Michael Owen now. And, you know, Harvey Elliott, again, you know, the mentality for him to come off the bench, and he's barely started this season. And I have to say, massive, massive shout out to him, because he doesn't sit there and sulk like Chelsea players, like United players. He keeps his head down and works hard in training, and he gets his chance and he puts it in the back of the net. And that is just, it just typifies not only his attitude, but the kind of growing attitude that we had 2 years ago. It's coming back. And I don't know if other guys will be happy to hear it, but we've lost 1 game in the Premier League this season, and I'm not even counting that as a loss, because it was we know what it was. But looking at Liverpool in
says
terms,
Alisson absolutely world class, number one.
Word.
What a save!
But how many
he
times
made
have I
that
said he's number
unbelievable
one?
save, didn't he?
It's not up for debate anymore. The first save from Schlupp, I mean, if that's Onana, it goes in. I'm sure of it. The strong wrist, and let's not forget, he was at 50. He was probably 30-70 to even play this game. And when he did play, I was thinking, okay, well, if that's a Kelleher, do we draw the game, with all due respect to him? But Alisson, the way he just saves us time and time and time again, where we'd be without him, I don't even want to think. But yeah, he is the best goalkeeper in the world for sure, and we're so lucky to have him, mate.
Ricky Proctor says Liverpool's title credentials need to be evaluated based on where they're going to be after Salah returns from AFCON. Do you think that will have an effect?
I mean, it
so
depends
much
how far they
firepower.
get, obviously, Egypt. I think the most he would miss is 2 or 3
Well, they'd
games.
probably be one of the favourite teams, wouldn't they?
You'd think so. They got to the final last time, but I think
We've got
enough.
as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got a winter break. I don't
You've
see
got
it
so
being
much
a big
firepower,
issue.
you should be able to get through
Yeah,
if it's
I
2-3 games without Salah.
I don't think it should be a big issue.
Got a lot of forwards.
Trouser says Sabloslai, most possessions won in the league, 23, 24. And Mars says 13 games we've played at 12:30. What's up with that? You know, I was at this football conference the other day at Soccerex
in Miami, yeah.
And a guy was explaining to me, saying that part of the reason for that is that Liverpool got such a massive fan base in the Far East that time
works for the whole world kind of thing.
And plus, because they're not in the Champions League as well, so that they can place them on a Saturday, but if they place them in that time slot, they've got such a massive.
But spread it out a bit. That's all we're saying. We don't mind it because our record in recent times this season anyway has been great for 12:30s. But since 2015-16, we've had 16. The next is 6, and we're not saying we don't want 12:30s. We're just saying share them out. Do you know what I mean? 6 over 16. Come on, man.
Yeah, if it's working for you, keep them all at 12:30.
Yeah, but I have to say I was absolutely buzzing after that game. And going into, I think we've got USG Thursday night, we've got United Sunday, then West Ham in the Cup next Wednesday, and then Arsenal. I think going into this Christmas period, we've got Chelsea at Anfield soon on January the... No, we've got you soon at Anfield. Don't worry about that. And we've got Newcastle as well. So if we can get through all of that unscathed, genuinely, I would, and again, this is going to sound quite mad. It's the first time I've said it this season, but if we get through all of that and into the new year in good shape, I think we're favourites to win the league.
And of course, you
I'll say it, man.
You supporting Liverpool now, are you?
Big Liverpool.
Anyone that isn't Arsenal,
you shameless.
No, I'm joking.
Huge
right?
I'm
Of course, you went above.
I'm pushing Aston Villa.
You went
Yeah,
above.
to be fair, I'd rather have Villa.
Went above Arsenal, who played in the 5:30 kickoff and lost 1-0 away at Aston Villa. A very controversial loss in my
I've always liked Aston Villa.
Big fan.
They have the same badges.
Controversial loss when Arsenal lose.
Similar badge.
Never straightforward, is it?
Never
Has
straightforward.
Arteta ever said once in the games that Arsenal has lost that they were the better team? Fair play to. He's never said that.
I don't think Aston Villa were the better team. I thought. Listen, I
agree with that. But just in general,
Aston Villa deserved to win, right? Because they scored. They took their chance. We didn't. We had enough chances. I'm not saying to win the game. We had enough chances to get back in the game, right? You know what I mean? We missed. I mean, I can't even. He's one of them weird ones. You come out of the game and you're like, I can't even go hard on some of the guys who messed up because they normally bury those. Odegaard normally from the edge of the box, he's one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
Them little cutbacks and that, he's brilliant. He missed 2 chances on the weekend.
2 big ones, yeah.
He must be couldn't sleep at the weekend. You know what I mean? That, and we dominated the game. Even you heard Emi Martinez in the interview afterwards. He said, they dominated 85% of the game, and they were very lucky to hold on. But they got the 3 points, and Villa are a good side. But I just couldn't go hard. But what I would say, I'm not gonna have a go at the handball thing. It's the rules. It's a stupid rule. We saw it in the game against United as well when the Bournemouth players threw. For that 4th goal, got disallowed because it hit his hand.
It's handball, isn't it?
Huh?
It's handball, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's the same with the Arsenal one.
Yeah.
Even though Matty Cash, it hit his hand. It's hit his hand.
But did it not hit Kai Havertz's hand first?
No, it hit Matty Cash's hand first. Right, and then it hits on Havertz's hand. But
it's about 4 handballs.
The ridiculousness of the rule is that if you're a defender, then they take into account unnatural position or that. If you're an attacking team, no matter what happens, if it touches your hand at all, it's a handball. So
big up Matty Cash.
You take that. You have to take it, even though it's upsetting. You have to take it because it's the rules. But the one that upset me was the Jesus one because I just think I look at VAR and I just think it's too inconsistent.
There is contact.
If I see VAR and it's consistent in games, but I look at your game, for instance, right? The Palace one.
It was a pen.
It was a pen, right? I think
3 minutes late.
There's more contact on the Jesus one. They took 3 minutes.
I don't know about more contact.
They took 3 minutes of playing that, then they pulled it back and said, "Let me go and run over to the screen."
Because in your game, I thought we weren't allowed to pull things back.
In our game. No, I'm
going to go at you. I'm just saying.
Nothing. So that's what upsets fans. If in both games they give it, or if in both games they don't give it, then you just say, But it's the inconsistencies, I feel, of VAR that it's just getting ridiculous now. And that is why you'll see a manager like Arteta, when there's small margins in a game in particular, they feel hard done by. I understand it.
I get it.
I've got to give credit to Aston Villa because they beat City
and Arsenal
midweek.
in a week.
City and Arsenal in 1 week, yeah.
14 home wins in a row, isn't it? And they're
15,
sorry. And
15.
Liverpool's record is 24.
I think so.
Nah,
yeah,
I don't think they'll get that. But if they do, then they're title contenders. Basically, what they're doing right now is insane.
Yeah. The only thing I think with them where they won't be title contenders, I think they're top 4 contenders.
On the road.
Oh, for sure.
On the road, they're not the same team, are they? They're, but certainly that's not an easy. That's not an easy place to go to. They're a bit like Newcastle.
Yeah.
Where on the road they're not as good, but at home.
I didn't.
When
Do you
you
know
go there,
what?
it's
I
tough.
didn't know that about Newcastle. I didn't realise that was the stat until yesterday. That
Yeah, they're poor on the road.
The only team that's been worse than them on the road is Sheffield, which I couldn't.
Yeah,
believe that.
Newcastle poor on the road. Villa a bit
dodgy on the road.
Poor on the road,
Shaky,
but they can be. The week before they drew, I think they drew with Bournemouth as well. But
2-2, yeah.
If you never know, Villa might go into the market in January and top up, and then they could easily like seriously put themselves in a shout. Like, I'm not saying they're going to be right to the end with like Arsenal, Liverpool, and City, but for Champions League, I definitely think, especially when they're in Conference League, and that's a lot easier than say Europa and obviously the other teams competing in Champions League, they could easily get that. They've got serious squad depth. Their squad depth is really impressive,
and they did so much good business in the.
They've got some good players, man.
I have to say, Diego Carlos.
Yeah,
that's a red for me. That's a red card for me.
Yeah,
it's totally off the ball. He's looking to hit him. He's tried to get away with it as well, which I think, you know, with these cameras these days, you just can't get away with anything. In my opinion, he got away. Well, he did. That's a red card. That's a red card.
I could understand where
it's so obvious.
You know, when I heard Gary Lineker on Match of the Day saying that he used to be an advocate of VAR, but now he's just thinking, just go back to.
It's because they didn't take.
It's because of inconsistencies. I think VAR. I think we all recognise that. We need something to clear up.
It's because they didn't take the whole package, Robbie. Yeah. They picked and choose what they wanted to take. It's like
it's true. It's like having a bundle for something.
Yeah,
it's like only taking parts.
It's like taking parts of an engine and expecting it to work. It won't work.
I don't know why they didn't get the automated offside system, because that was fantastic in the World Cup. I don't know why they didn't take that.
Take it or don't take it.
You can't.
Simple as that.
But then you've got to be consistent across it, innit?
Yeah, of course.
It's like you know sometimes you go to watch a game of football. Like the other night at Luton,
yeah.
The referee was allowed physicality. But he kind of allowed it on both sides. So I'm just like, yo, listen, this is how he's running the game tonight.
I respect
he's running it tonight, that is physical. You get another referee that he's not really allowing too much physical stuff. But as long as you do it
both sides,
you're all right with it. But it's the inconsistencies I see with VAR. I can't watch a game in the morning and they do one thing. Then you watch the game in the evening.
They don't know the rules that they've written.
Because as I say,
it's still subjective.
They didn't take the whole package. And this league, the Premier League, isn't consistent. It's not even consistent with punishments.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they just make them up on the spot.
It's true. I don't know how Jackson didn't get a ban. He had a man throttled after the Everton game.
Yeah, there's a guy, you see all this diving, Salah diving and all these players diving. Lanzini dived once against West Brom and got a free match ban. Once. And that's the only players ever got it.
True.
When was that?
That was a few years ago. I'm just saying, but it's inconsistent. You've got players diving week in, week out, and he's the only one. He dived for a penalty, got a penalty given against him, and he got a free match ban for it.
There should be a reshuffling of the refereeing in this country, because
you don't see
this. You don't see
people.
this.
They're running out though, Matisse. No one wants to grow up and be a referee anymore.
I don't think they take. They don't take referees from other nations.
That's kind of our fault, but
just go
also
with the English referees.
Their own fault for not actually sticking to the rules that they've written.
Super chat saying Moyes says Matisse head up G. Chelsea winning the Premier League next season. The Ricky 13 says I would love to have Bowen in Spurs. With Cook under Ange. That's 25.
He said Bowley.
No chance.
He's never leaving, mate. Danny Dyer won't allow it. They're laughing,
Great player.
Well, he needs his daughter to be looked after, right? So bigger money, maybe. You never know.
Don't worry.
Gunnar Shav says, Robbie, with ESR back in training, we need him to get back on form as soon as possible. His goals and assists are needed.
Have you guys not given up on Smith Rowe yet?
Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, he's always injured.
No, he's back in training today.
Virgil van Dijk back to his best. Not being talked about enough, says Trousers. I think he is back to his best. He's playing really well at the moment.
Not the unicorn form that we saw that can never be recreated.
Playing well,
but
though,
it's close to it, man.
Yeah. Eddie says, I'm a Liverpool fan and a fan of the show. If Palace get a penalty for that decision, then why don't Arsenal get a penalty against Villa?
That's true.
Consistency. Says 2 words, generational Havertz. Havertz has been playing very well for us. Very well. Strictly Football says Martinelli and Jesus with 4 Premier League goals between them. Yep, need more. I think with the Jesus one, we've got to remember he has been out injured a lot. So he's only just sort of come back. But I want to see more from Martinelli. I didn't think he was great in that game.
Got more goals than Jesus.
Yeah, yes.
Who would have thought
yesterday.
that?
Amelie says, Nicky, you got the bug too. How come Chris Wilder and Pep didn't get a booking for celebrating? Edward Joseph 1808 says, big up the team, great content. Any chance we see Villa representation on the panel in the future?
Start making a few calls, mate.
Yeah, I'm not going to get that Luke Vernon. He's getting on my nerves. But big up Luke Vernon. He says they're turning out to be the dark horse of the season. Villa Park can now be dubbed a true fortress. It definitely is. And Moa says, let's not even talk about Chelsea women yesterday. Oh, yeah. Arsenal beating 4-1,
mate.
Shall we go to Tottenham or should we go West Ham? Where should we go next?
Whatever you'd like to do. You want to go here first?
Yeah, let's go Tottenham.
Let's go Tottenham. 4-1 winners yesterday over Newcastle.
Afternoon.
It all finally came together. Even Richarlison got 2 goals.
Richie lad.
It all came together.
It did. And I wasn't there. I was in Glasgow and I was flying back. But my flight was delayed, so I got to watch the first half. And I landed just as we won the pen and turned it on. So, yeah, it was great. Look.
The relief when that second one went in.
Yeah, oh my God.
Because 1-0 up, you're still thinking they could let it slip.
It's, look, I've said it for a few weeks. We still played really well. I'd say the first half against West Ham, really good. Again, second half, took our foot off the pedal. Probably should have been a draw that game. But the Villa game, we should have won. You know, we were still doing everything that we were doing, just not being clinical enough and taking those chances. And I'm so glad that yesterday it did pay off, because there were people that are throwing so many questions at Ange. And you can see what he's trying to do. He has a style, he implements a style, and that's what we're doing. You're seeing, like, Porro and a doggy go from playing at fullback to inverted wingers to being a 6 at one time to an 8 to being a 10. It's something I haven't seen us do before. I've never seen us do it before. And when I was looking at Ange before he joined us, it was the way he used to play at Celtic, and he played it in the J League before that. And it's one of those things where if it works, it works. You will probably get caught out quite a lot of the time and leave all that space open, because you're effectively leaving 1 or 2 players back on a very high line. But what it means is that your whole team is essentially attacking, and you're like bamboozling the other team in front of you, where everyone is all around, everyone's moving positions and switching all the time, that as an opposition, you're not quite sure what's going to happen. I thought we were brilliant yesterday. From what I saw, I thought we had loads of chances before Udogie opened the scoring anyway. Really happy for Richarlison. It's good to see him, you know, get some confidence, get some goals, because we're going to need him. Come January, Son is off to AFCON. He's not off to AFCON. He's off to Asia Cup. Thank you. Basuma and Sarah off to AFCON. We're going to be very light if we don't do anything, and we need these players like Richarlison.
Brennan Johnson needs to step up as well.
Yeah, I don't think he's been that bad. Like,
goal-wise, though, the output, I think it's 1 in 22.
Again, like small margins. Yesterday,
was his goal put at Forest
he had one come off. He had one come off the post, and he had one come off the bar yesterday. So again, it's coming. But he did look much better yesterday in terms of 1 for us so far, but he could have had 2 yesterday.
How many goals did he score last season, though?
6 or 7.
Yeah, but it will come. You know, it's a big step up for him as well. It's a big step up. You know, Ange said it the other day. He's finding his feet. They're all still really young. You know, and there's a certain way he wants everyone to play. And it takes time to implement it, but you've got to look, and this is the difference where we're talking about other managers, that Ange has been at a club that was in absolute disarray, and he's been there for 5 months now, and look at how he's turned everything, the fan base, the team, the mood, the positivity, the implementing a style. And I look at, not trying to dig you, but I'm looking at Chelsea and seeing a complete polar opposite with a manager that I know can have that effect on a team, because he's done it at Tottenham. So it's just all credit.
You make a great point.
All credit to Ange.
Right? Much as I despise Spurs, you've got to give him credit. Like, if you use that as an example, right? It's the perfect example, right? Because Manchester United and Chelsea, they'll complain about outside influences bought. It was the same at Tottenham. Everyone was complaining about Levy, he ain't got the money, this, that, the board. But he's come in, he hasn't focused on that. But what I see him doing, he's getting the best out of every player. Players that last year, you looked at and you thought,
that's what good managers do.
Even like you said, even Richarlison now, he's got him. He brings him in, he's got him scoring. That's what Chelsea are lacking. That's when I'm looking at Chelsea and Man United and saying, do we need to look at the managers? All right, we do know there's a lot of off-field things. Definitely that doesn't help. But you got to get on with your job, and Postecoglou is doing that, isn't he? He's getting on with his job. And
it's having a style of play, and it's having a belief. So everyone can call Ange naive, you know, but he has stuck to his guns, and he's saying, this is the way we are going to play, whether we have 9 men, 5 men, have everyone out injured, this is the way, because I'm ingraining it in you that when we are all fit, you all know the role that you have to play in this team. And that is what is so good, because we've had all these injuries, and we've still got them going on, and you're asking players who have underperformed, you know, last season and the season before that are still there, having to come in and do a job, but everyone is singing off the same hymn sheet, and everyone knows what they have to do when they come on the pitch, and that is the difference. By implementing a style and sticking with it, whether people think that's naive or not, than having a manager who doesn't know his best 11, doesn't know what team he's putting out in the likes of Pochettino at the minute or Ten Hag, and it's just, you're not looking at anything with an identity, and that's why Spurs fans will be behind Ange, because even when you're in that really poor vein of form, you can see why, you know, these small things that are going against you at the minute, you know, hitting the bar, hitting the post, not taking the opportunity and the chances. And he was right to be angry with them on Thursday after the West Ham game, because the game was there for the taking. Same with the Villa game, was absolutely there for the taking, shouldn't have lost. The one we should have lost for sure was Wolves. That was the worst performance of the season. But as long as everyone can see what's going on, Spurs fans have suffered for so long with the style of football that everyone's just happy to see. We know what direction we're going in.
All right, Ricky says, sorry, I'm going to do 2 super chats, Rick. Nikki, now I'll get to you. Ricky13 says, Porro, 3rd best right back after Trent and Walker. He's playing well at the moment. This season up there. And Tommy Jensen says, Spurs and Arsenal always complain when they're losing. Always others' fault, not their own. You both lost to Villa. Get over it. Up the Villa, he says.
It was our fault. We didn't take our chances against Villa.
Nikki, I said this in a preview. I've done a preview with the boys from We Are Tottenham TV the other week, and I said it's a breath of fresh air to see Ange. I like Ange. You know, as much as I don't like Tottenham, I like Ange. And what you've got with someone like him is belief. He spreads the belief all around. This is the way we're playing. This is what we're going to... He's got the players believe in it. He's got the fans believe in it. And I was just saying, like, you know, in the past when they've had people like Mourinho, you're playing a negative brand of football. What's the point in playing that if you're losing? You know, this is the same sort of thing that we have with...
Might as well go for it.
Well, let's move on to West Ham, right? Because what an incredible week. You go to Tottenham, and I thought first half you were poor, but in the second half, great performance by you guys. You come out there with a massive win over deadly rivals, but then you go away to Fulham and get pumped 5-0. There's been some weird results this week. That was another strange one. Fulham, by the way, that's 2 back-to-back home games where they've won 5-0.
It's mad.
Crazy.
Where'd they find the goals from?
I don't know.
Jimenez.
Yeah, Jimenez back in form.
Jimenez on fire.
Wilson. Williams.
So, I mean, that sort of sums up West Ham, innit? Like,
that's Moyes ball, mate. That's what it brings. That's what Moyes ball. He has got, and I said this the other week, and nobody really believes me. He's got no belief in anyone outside his starting 11. He has drained the confidence out of every single player outside that. Danny Ings, no confidence. Cornet wasn't even in the squad. Tilo Kehrer. Remember him?
Yeah.
Where's he at now? Yeah, exactly.
Who's that?
You know what I mean?
Defender.
It's the defender that we bought for. You got Ben Rama.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah.
Can't get a game. Fornells was standing there like a statue. Cresswell was spinning around in circles, mate. Alex Iwobi had him on toast. It's like outside that first 11, anything missing outside that first 11, he ain't got a fucking clue what he's doing. He ain't got a clue. No clue whatsoever.
What happens then, Nicky? Because I mean, we've been joking about him getting sacked for maybe over a year now.
He's in his last year, though.
No, he's going to see this year. As I said before, I'm always neutral now because I can only see him staying.
Yeah.
I can't see him going.
Yeah.
So, like,
but also, you're not in a crisis situation as well.
Yeah, but when you look around, though, Nicky, you say that. But when you look around, you look at Chelsea, you look at United, you look at other teams, you know, that have...
So is this not...
Let me just say, yeah? You look around, and then you look at you guys, right? You've won a European trophy, right, that he's brought there. You've been in Europe the past 3 seasons as well. And challenging, not just been in it, and challenging. The season before that, you went to the semi-finals of the Europa League. All right, I know you had a bit of a rocky time in the league, but he still kept you lot up comfortably in the end. Don't you look at it and say, he's got you guys stable at least. It's a stable thing. No one's looking at West Ham thinking they're going to go down. You've got a chance even this season of, again, getting into that top 6. You've got a chance to go far in the Europa League. I mean, that's.
But when you look at the teams like Chelsea and Man United, like we're in a good position, and I've never ever. I don't want to disrespect the guy because I've got a lot of respect for the guy because where he took it from to where it is now is completely different. He did instill a bit of stability in the club. He's won us the first trophy. But Rob, I think if I'd have took over halfway through the season, I think I would have won that trophy.
Really?
Honestly, I don't think it was because of Moyes. We was one of the favourites to win the bloody cup. You know what I mean? Like. And I don't want to disrespect.
But the season before that, he got into the semi-final.
He did
of the Europa League.
But that was a completely different kettle of fish. It was Moyes' ball was being implemented. But the thing is with him, Rob, he cannot change from that. That is all he's got. Once it gets found out, he dropped like a stone. All the time.
Would you take Graham Potter after this season? Like?
I ain't got the answer.
Okay.
And this is why I would say I wouldn't sack him because I haven't got the answer to what who comes in.
You just want somebody who can put together a style of play.
I want them to identify someone that can take us forward. Look, you can say
you're trying to be proactive.
Dave Bassett was a manager that used to come in and stabilise the club. You wouldn't say Dave Bassett was the long-term manager. Sam Allardyce, he's meant to be this problem fixer. He's not a long-term manager these days. That's what David Moyes is. He stabilised the club. And when you see the likes of Chelsea, Man United, and all that struggling, and you've had that level of success, and I said this to you last year.
You've got to be careful though, Nicky.
But I said this to you last year. You've got to strike while the iron's hot. You know what I mean?
The irons have got to strike.
To strike while the iron's hot. You know what I mean? And he got away with it a bit last year. Our league form, we nearly got relegated.
But in the end, he staved it off easily in the end, didn't
we? We had 24 points, the same amount of points that we got now in April.
Well, that goes to show he's progressing this season, isn't he?
No, but this season, well, I mean, look at the money he's spent and all. I just think that there's a manager out there that can take us forward.
Mark Noble?
Mark Noble ain't going to take us
forward. Nicky, you're ninth in the league.
Not that bad.
You're ninth in the league, right?
You beat 5-0 by Fulham.
But hold on, you're ninth in the league. You're 2 points off Newcastle in 7th, right? You're 3 points off Manchester United.
But you know what, though, Rob?
You're 6 points off Tottenham.
We've had no injuries.
True.
Yeah, no injuries. We've got these new superstars. It's Paqueta, Kudus, all of these players.
Exciting players, man.
But I ain't seen anything exciting from them. They win games through individual bits of brilliance. It's not through the manager. It sets up. Did you watch the Palace game? I'm a West Ham supporter. I fell asleep.
Jamie Talk says up the SFS.
Big up Jamie.
Nicky, who would you take over Moyes? He's asking a specific question. Who would you take over Moyes?
I ain't got the answer.
Okay.
I ain't got the answer.
But
that's not I don't get paid to make a decision.
Eddie David says the Romero tackle on Wilson, a red card.
Yeah, for me it's a red.
Let's ask Abby.
I didn't see it.
Abby, honestly, don't help yourself.
That's an Arsene Wenger.
You saw everything else, but you didn't see that.
I didn't see it live, to be fair. No, it was. I saw it on a replay. He's an idiot. I mean,
is he going to cost you? Because that could have been on another day. That was another 3 games out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stupid.
Just come back as well.
The thing is, we all know he can be reckless and rash and everything. That is part of Romero, and he is a bit of a liability. But for the first 10 games, he was seamless, completely flawless. I don't know if that's because he had Mickey van der Ven next to him, who was just brilliant, and maybe calms him down a little bit. But yeah, he's stupid. Because on another day, that's another red.
That's me again for VAR. How have they looked at that and said, no, that's all right?
Yeah, I don't know. He was very lucky to get away with it because he can't do that. You saw how we were punished from those 3 games with him being out, and he can't. He's just got to be smarter.
Let me just because we're running out of time.
But Callum Wilson, just have to say one thing on Callum Wilson, right? Because he's moaning about Vicario pulling faces at him and saying it lacks respect. Him and Mikel Antonio have been digging Richarlison out on their podcast.
Plus, as well, I saw a podcast where he said he goes, I was stepping on Gabriel's foot and stuff like that.
Let's not talk about.
And we shook hands after the game.
Respect your fellow pros. But, don't worry about Vicario's faces.
Just as we're running out of time, just quickly, Luton fought valiantly, but Man City got over the line in the end, winning 2-1.
Stop the rock.
Do you think Luton might stay up?
Do you know what?
They're not an easy place to go to.
No, it's not. It's not.
That is not an easy place to go to.
And they don't get bad. If they
don't
do
really
lose,
have
they don't get bad.
ultimate quality.
It's
No,
last
it's
minute
only like
Arsenal,
2 goals, yeah.
City last
Do you know
minute.
what I'll say?
Liverpool
Do you know what I'll
last
say
minute.
about Luton? I still think they'll go down, but I think they'll go down with a
Swinging.
with
I
a
don't
swing
think
now,
they
and
will
that's
swing.
something you can say with all the troubles they had at the start
Fair
of the
play.
season, trying to get the stadium together. They don't have a lot of money. They haven't got a lot of really any investment.
I think they're found their
The fact
feet.
that they're fighting is very impressive.
Found their feet really well.
Sheffield United also fighting now as well. They want a big win for them.
Massive win,
They
that.
won 1-0.
McCarthy.
Wolves drew 1-1. Will Nottingham Forest. Steve Cooper's been under a bit of pressure for Forest, but they got
Good
a
point
draw,
for
and it
Forest,
was
that.
1-1 between Brighton and Burnley. So a point for Burnley. So the bottom of the table looks like this: Sheffield United still bottom, but on 8 points. Burnley also on 8 points. Luton on 9 points. Everton now on 13 points, moving away from that bottom four and bottom three, sorry. And Nottingham Forest have got 14 points. They're in 16th. Top of the table, Liverpool on 37 points. Second place, Arsenal on 36. Villa in third place on 35, just 2 off the top. Manchester City, 33 points now after their win. Tottenham moved back into 5th on 30 points. Manchester United, despite, you know, they're still in the top 6. I don't know how they're doing this, right? But they're still in the top 6 on 27 points.
Where's Chelsea?
19 points, isn't it?
Just because you didn't mention where they were.
Doesn't matter.
Can't find them.
Doesn't matter.
Right. 12th.
None of your business.
Couple more
None of
super
your
chats before we go. Perth Luxury, topic of discussion. Orange cards, aka 10 minutes in a sin bin. Well, they are considering this sin bin thing.
It's not good.
We'll do that on another show.
Sort out VAR
Ricky
before you do
Proctor,
that.
Abby,
You know what I mean?
it is becoming
Where's
difficult
his
for us
pee?
to hate you for being Spurs
Cheers.
because of your hair. And he said, in brackets, he says that's a compliment. But he says, but you're a Liverpool, now you be a Liverpool fan, he says, we're back. So we're back to hating you again.
I don't know, can I spud you for that?
They took points off you this
Dunno,
season
man.
illegally.
No, I can't do it. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
look at
man.
that. See, look, they don't even want you.
We
They
can't
don't
just-
even
Wow.
want
Wow.
After what happened after that Diaz goal, innit? Yeah.
you. I always tell you look good in red.
You don't need to
Lady in
Hey, you don't need to support Liverpool. We have Villa here. We have Villa. Aston Villa look good.
Yeah, I know, but at this point, we need to start having these conversations again, like round tabling it.
Villa, I'm telling you,
Emergency
Villa's.
meeting.
I'm stocking up.
What? Just support your own
he should
team.
But we've got to have an agenda.
Maybe you need to support a team like Everton or something. If you
Villa,
talking-
Villa.
They'll stay
No,
up.
focus on the relegation.
Villa.
zone.
No, I need Villa to do Villa.
Focus
more.
on teams that could keep you above that relegation zone.
Bruv, if we get
Concentrate
relegated,
on
we're winning the league next year.
Listen,
Imagine
don't
if you did
forget to download the app, the Fair Play app. Download the Fair Play app. It's free. It's a DR Sports special. Use the promo code Salah, and if Mo Salah scores or assists versus
Salah.
Manchester United this weekend, users will get a £5 free bet. Listen,
I'll pay that
free
myself.
money, free.
Free.
Users need to be 18 and over. Be gambleaware.com. Scan the QR code or download the link in the description and click the link in the description, and you can make your bet. And remember, you can play against each other. There's no commission, and it's brilliant. You know what I mean?
good fun.
People have to
Bit of
pay
fun,
up.
innit? That's
They
it.
have to pay up. Listen, thanks very much for this, everybody here today. Thank you very much to Matisse. He's been a good sport. He's cooking after cooking.
How many weeks has he got left
Sheffield
of
United
this?
next week.
I
You'll
feel
be all
bad
right.
because Flex wasn't even here to share it.
Right, yeah. Abby, big up to Abby. Big up to AGT. Big up to Nikki. And you are a disgrace, Flex. You're an absolute disgrace. I don't
Forfeit
care
next week, I
about the
reckon.
press conference, but what he did send me a message and said, listen, he'll be back on Thursday, which will be
will see
after
you.
their game in the Champions League. So he said if they lose that, he's willing to take a double cooking. So look out for that
We will
on
be
Thursday.
there.
And he's got preview to do on the COP TV on Thursday as well.
Oh.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. And we'll see you again next week.
Welcome to Chelsea. There we go. 2-0. Game finished.
I can't do it. You can. No, I can't.
Still waiting for 40 points.
Where's the 40, bro?
You will be most likely next weekend 40 points clear of us before we reach 40 points.
That's mad.
I've been asking for 3 points for weeks.
It's it's got a swirling wind all around. It's the same conditions for both teams.
Sounded like Ty here.
We mustn't forget that it's been raining, so the pitch is quite.
It's been raining.
Yeah.
Oh God.
12, 13.
That's Old Trafford. I can't believe it at home. There you go. It's done. Free!
Absolutely pathetic. Absolutely disgusting performance, and those players should be embarrassed.